are down.
The enemy has been defeated.
Welcome back everyone to another retrospective video. I'm ShadoSpartan, and for Star Wars Day we'll be checking out Star Wars Empire at War and its expansion, Forces of Corruption. Released in 2006, this real-time strategy game was published by LucasArts and developed by Petroglyph Games. The studio was formed by 3 programmers who formerly worked at Westwood Studio, makers of the Command & Conquer series. They would develop other games such as Universe at War, Command & Conquer Remastered, and a couple other games I never heard of. Empire at War at first glance might not win you over in today's modern graphics, but the gameplay is still well worth it. The ground and space battles are still unique and fun. You can play through 3 story campaigns, Galactic Conquest where you can choose a number of maps to conquer all the planets, or skirmish on land or space battles with other players or against the AI. There's even a giant modding community that maybe one day I will look into. But for now, let's take a look at what you get in this gold pack. As usual, I'm going to go through the story, so spoiler warning, what I liked and disliked, and any funny or awkward moments that happened to me during my playthrough. So let's hyperspeed our way into this. If you've played any of the Total War games, you might find this gameplay to be similar. There is a tutorial that guides you through the basics of the game. First thing you'll be looking at is this galaxy map. I think it's really cool to see where all the planets in the Star Wars universe are located. I'm not sure how accurate it is though, because I don't think Naboo, Tatooine, and Geonosis were this close together. Also, Mon Calamari is actually just Mon Cala, because George Lucas retconned it in Star Wars The Clone Wars. Also, I don't think Mandalore was way out here. It's closer to...
Get on with it! Yes! Get on with it!
Oh, sorry, I digress. You'll start off with a number of planets. Each one has a credit income, and grants your faction bonuses, such as discounts on certain units, buffs to your units, and battle advantages. At the end of each galactic day, which is here, you collect credits to then spend on structures and units. You can see the 2 different tabs, Space for building spaceships, and Land for ground forces. As you take over more planets, you'll increase the amount of credits you get, and increase the army cap. Each planet has a certain number of structures you can build, including the level your space station can get to. Generally, you build production buildings for making certain units. There is also defensive buildings like a shield generator or turbo lasers, and even a weapon like an ion cannon to use for space battles over the planet. You can also build a mine to increase your credit income.
Beginning construction.
Every unit is a counter to another one, so it's always a good idea to have a little bit of everything when going into battle. For example, the stormtroopers you need because they and hero units are the only ones that can capture landing zones. You will need these for calling in more troops. The more you have, the more troops you can call in at one time. The easy counter to stormtroopers is usually artillery. They can one-shot stormtroopers no problem, so you should also bring these tanks to counter those artillery. Each faction does have some unique units, but generally both sides have the same type. The point is every unit does have a counter to them, so you need to be strategic with what units you send in and make sure you have the right ones to counter them. Same thing for space battles. You start off with bombers who are good at taking out space stations and capital ships like Star Destroyers. Then you have fighters who are good at taking them out, so you will either need fighters of your own or use a cruiser who's great at taking out both bombers and fighters. So to counter them, you'll need frigates, and so on to the bigger ships until you get to the capital ships, and then we come full circle back to needing bombers. The unique thing about space battles is bigger ships have these specific points on them.
Direct fire at their lasers to the south.
So you can focus the engines first on a Star Destroyer to slow it down, or focus the shield generator to have an easier time taking it down since shields recharge. You might prefer taking out their weapon systems first to make the ship useless. The choice is yours, and once all the parts of the ship is taken out, the entire ship is destroyed. So again, make sure you have just a little bit of everything in your fleet and armies to make sure you are ready to counter what the enemy has to throw at you. Also yes, the Empire can build the dreaded Death Star to blow up planets in the late game. In campaign mode, you follow the objectives given to you by all your favorite characters such as Darth Vader and Mon Mothma. Both Rebel and Empire campaigns take place before and during Episode 4, while the Zann Consortium takes place just after Episode 4 through Episode 6. Galactic Conquest mode has a set number of maps for you to choose. You decide how much credits you start with, and what tech tier you start out at. The Empire has to spend a long time researching their technology tree, while the Rebels use R2-D2 and C-3PO to steal the technology from the Empire. Finally, Skirmish mode is generating credits during the battle while researching new technology and building units to throw at the enemy until one team is left standing. Some hero units only show up in the Skirmish maps, like Kyle Katarn from Jedi Outcast. That's about it, so let's get started with the campaigns. You start off with the beginning title crawl, like any other Star Wars game. Captain Antilles is on a mission to find and take the new prototype X-Wing fighters from the Imperials. They start by raiding the Kuat shipyards, causing destruction to halt the Imperial fleet while they repair their ships. Next, they need landing codes to get on the planet Freysia. You take R2 and 3PO to Wayland to get them. You get the codes, and before I go to Freysia, I save my game. Wow, that took a long time. I have no idea why it takes over 15 seconds to save in this game. So we land our forces and find turbo lasers guarding the X-Wings. So send a force to take out the power generator. Then send in the pilots to take the X-Wings. The Empire will build anti-aircraft turrets, so take them out and you win. Next, Mon Mothma wants you to go and rescue some prisoners heading to Kessel. All you gotta do is use your Y-Wing's ion cannon ability to disable the shuttles. Then take Captain Antilles' ship and rescue the prisoners. The prisoners you saved were scientists for the Empire, and tell Mon Mothma about a new super weapon the Empire is constructing. You send R2 and 3PO to Mon Calamari to look for new technology and information on this super weapon. You unlock new things, but nothing about a new weapon. More planets begin to open up for you to take over. Otherwise, a few minutes later, Mon Mothma hears about a former Imperial soldier turned rogue is freeing Wookiees on Kashyyyk.
Don't care where he said he was. He's not there. No, I can't ask them. They're shooting at me. Yeah, I'll keep looking.
So you make your way there and help Han destroy the labor camps and liberate Kashyyyk. Han lets you know he didn't do it for the Alliance, just for the money. More planets open up, and Mothma finds out a pirate went rogue and is now offering information on the Alliance to the Empire.
That's what we get for dealing with those slime balls. Those pirates would sell their own mothers out for a few credits.
The meeting is taking place at the planet Atzuri. Take over all the planets, then send in your fleet.
Attention, pirate scum. Surrender the data on the Alliance or be destroyed. The pirate is running. Stop him!
While I was trying to disable the pirate ship, the Imperial Star Destroyer went into an asteroid field and killed himself. Reminds me of this clip from episode 5.
And that, Lord Vader, was the last time they appeared in any of our...
Once you get the data and destroy the interdictor ships, you make your escape. The captured pirate informs Mothma that Grand Moff Tarkin is overseeing the project. She knows they can't attack the Empire in a frontal assault, so she contacts Han Solo for help. However, Han is in trouble and asks the Rebels for help. You send a fleet to Corellia, and all you need to do is focus on the tractor beam and you win. Fastest and easiest mission in this game. Next, Mothma needs Han to go look for a specific container and plant an EMP device in it.
The next time we run into the Imperials, I'm just gonna dump the cargo and let them board us.
The mission involves you circling around the map for the container. Boba Fett shows up, but Han has enough time to escape. The EMP made its way to the planet Korylag. You arrive and all the Imperial ships are deactivated.
Boarding parties, get going. Search the station and collect any data you can.
The Imperial ships start to come online. You hold them off for as long as you can until the boarding party finishes. It got intense once the Star Destroyers came back online. The boarding party rescued a certain Mon Calamari who was in Tarkin's service. It's Admiral Akbar. You know, this guy, who famously says,
"It's a trap!"
Akbar reveals to Mothma the weapon is called the Death Star. Antilles, R2, and 3PO disappear from you to go and assist a certain member of the Senate to look for the plans to the Death Star. Obviously, this game came out way before Rogue One, so this game was the closest thing at the time to explain how the Rebels were able to find out about the Death Star and acquire the plans. Akbar says if he can get the schematics for their Mon Calamari capital ships, they can produce them for the Alliance. Mothma needs Han again for a special mission. but sounds like it's against his will.
Karita? Shipyard? Hey, wait. You're not shipping us off like a couple of... Watch it! Watch it!
Karita is where Han and Chewie are heading. What's really cool is Chewie can take over any vehicle, including the AT-AT. Han gets to the storage area and gets what they needed, then makes his way back to a shuttle.
No more discussions. Every time I listen to you for more than a minute, Chewie and I end up risking our necks.
Mothma announces that the Imperials report Leia's ship was attacked by pirates, and the Empire promises an investigation. But we all know what happened.
You are part of the Rebel Alliance and a traitor. Take it away!
Your next mission is to defeat a couple of waves of Imperial Star Destroyers making their way to the planet Mon Calamari. You now have Mon Calamari capital ships to help you with that.
We've destroyed the fleet! Mon Calamari is saved!
Mothma is happy, but is concerned why they threw away so many of their ships. So awkwardly, the Death Star went right away to Yavin 4. The problem is I don't have Luke yet, so I can't destroy the Death Star until they finish talking. So Yavin gets destroyed. When they finally finished talking, I had to fight the battle with only Han and Luke. Well, they didn't make it, so I had to wait until they came back. Now I can defeat the Death Star. Final cutscene. The Emperor sends Lord Vader to search for an Imperial traitor.
We will eliminate the rebel forces here and discover the identity of the traitor with one swift strike.
The first mission is simple, but Vader doesn't find the traitor. They only learn that the rebels are working with some pirates. The rebels have taken the planet Fondor, so you need Vader and his ground forces to retake it. I almost forgot to mention, if you have bombers in orbit during a land battle, you gain the ability to call for a bombing run, which does heavy damage to all enemy units in an area. This recharges every couple of minutes. Once Fondor is retaken, Vader learns that the pirates have a base on the planet Ilum. You send a probe droid to scout. Vader then requests help from Boba Fett to weaken the pirate defenses first. Then the Imperial fleet comes in. You destroy the base and the pirate leader tries to escape, but you disable his ship and take him prisoner. The pirate leader is sent off for interrogation to hopefully reveal the traitor. Grand Moff Tarkin then commands Vader to go to Geonosis for resources that are needed to construct the Death Star. As before with the rebels, I take over all the planets on my way to my objective.
It appears the Geonosians have allied themselves with the rebellion.
It's pretty simple just to take out all the rebel spaceships and the space station.
We are victorious.
Now land your ground forces and take the planet. The Emperor wants you to take over Mon Calamari to prevent the Mon Calamari from joining the rebels. Watch out because they send in 2 capital ships, and they really hurt. Eventually I take them out and the space station to win. Next, news from Kashyyyk of a former Imperial officer is inciting the Wookiees to riot. Head over and defeat Han, or at least make him retreat, and take out the remaining rebels. Now that the extra labor and resources are going to the Death Star, Tarkin informs the Emperor that they put some of these resources to developing new weapons of war. Colonel Veers, which is this guy from Episode 5, tests the new AT-AT Walker. The rebels launch a surprise attack, but are easily taken out. Vader suspects that the rebels are on the nearby planet Jabin. Taking over the planet reveals the rebels know a little bit about the Death Star. Since few in the Imperial Army know of it, Vader identifies Moff Kallus as the traitor. So the Emperor commands you to go to the planet Atsuri and arrest Moff Kallus. You arrive, but he jumps to hyperspace and escapes. You finish off the rebels, but don't worry, Tarkin sends you an interdictor cruiser so no ships can jump to hyperspace. This time you disable his ship and take him prisoner. Kallus revealed that the Bothans of Bothui have been spying on the Empire for the rebels. The Emperor goes himself and kills many Bothans. I guess Mon Mothma was right in Episode 6.
Many Bothans died to bring us this information.
Next, Tarkin needs you to intercept Leia Organa of Alderaan, because she's about to receive a transmission from rebel agents regarding the Death Star. Again, this is before Rogue One. You send your fleet to Tatooine and first destroy a pirate base, then hide all of your ships in the Nebula fields. Once Leia gets the plans, you ambush her and tractor beam her ship. Even though the plans to the Death Star weren't found, Tarkin reveals the Death Star is complete. So now you send your fleet and the Death Star to Alderaan. You take on a rebel fleet that's there, but after about a minute you destroy the planet and win. Your final objective is to destroy 5 specific planets: Polis, Alzok 3, Shola, Hoth, and Yavin 4. They are all tough battles, and I lost a few Star Destroyers in each battle, but eventually, the rebellion falls.
Planetary control achieved.
Final cutscene.
Not allow them to escape. Follow and fire at will. Leave nothing alive. There is nothing to stop us now, my master.
It is all as I have foreseen.
Now before we get into this, I just want to take a moment and say this theme song is awesome. It sounds and feels like it belongs in Star Wars. I hope one day Lucasfilm brings Tiber Zann and his Consortium along with this theme song into the Star Wars canon. Alright, let's jump into it. We finally get to the expansion for Empire at War, Forces of Corruption. There is one added tutorial for learning how the Zann Consortium plays. It also serves as a prequel to the campaign. The unique thing about Zann's forces is they corrupt planets. There are many ways of corrupting, and gives advantages and benefits to Zann. You make this unit a defiler. Send him over to a planet and choose what you want to happen. Some choices require you to go into a land or space battle and do something specific. Some choices require a certain hero, units, and have done certain acts of corruption already. You also learn all of your ships can hide in an asteroid field without taking damage. You complete the corruption and now you can see everything about that planet. Tiber unlocks new technology by first corrupting the planet with a black market on an Imperial world. Now you can send any hero to steal technology from the Empire. The Rebellion has their own tech options to steal, so it's good to have a black market on both factions. For now, Tiber is joined by his trusted ally Uri Fen, who dual wields some kind of blades around his arms. You learn that Tiber joined forces with Jabba the Hutt. They both grew very rich, but Tiber never intended to stay allied forever. He learned recently Jabba acquired a unique artifact that cost him almost half his wealth. So Tiber is now interested in finding it and taking it for himself. Tiber also really hates the Empire. He used to work his way up through the Imperial Academy, but he was expelled because others saw his quick advancement through the ranks. So he swore one day to get his revenge. For now, Tiber learns that Jabba the Hutt is on his way to sell the artifact to the Imperials on Felucia, this planet from Episode 3. You learn here that Tiber has the special ability to bribe his way through enemy space and attack whatever planet he wants to. There's this new unit, an APC, that's useful for transporting soldiers over dangerous terrain, such as this poisonous spore field. You make your way over and Tiber gets the artifact. If you're a Star Wars fan, then you already know what it looks like. Tiber then gives it to Uri and tells him to meet him at the rendezvous point. Tiber then goes and gets taken prisoner by the Imperials. Oh, and those giant troopers right there are supposed to be those Dark Troopers from Mandalorian Season 2. So here we go, the story picks up with Tiber Zann was sent to the spice mines of Kessel. Yes, that one from the movie Solo. While Tiber plans his revenge, Uri is on his way to rescue Tiber in the Millennium Falcon. Jabba hacks into Tiber's cell and tells him he wants his artifact back, but Tiber says no. So Jabba lets him know a price is on his head, so every bounty hunter is now looking for him. Tiber gets out and contacts Uri to accelerate their plans.
I'm not waiting around for the Imperial fleet to get here. Make it snappy.
Then a bounty hunter shows up and Tiber stalls him long enough for Uri to save the day. This mission is simple and straightforward. You make your way to the Falcon and escape.
Let's go, Uri. We need to re-establish our criminal network as soon as possible. With Jabba posting a bounty on my head, every bounty hunter in the galaxy will be out to stop us.
You begin by corrupting a couple of worlds to get started. Unfortunately, in this campaign, there are less planets to take over. There are some new planets, but this makes the campaign feel linear, which is disappointing. Don't worry though, the missions they've created are still interesting and fun. After corrupting Mandalore, Uri talks about this artifact and reveals it's a Sith artifact that might contain important information. Tiber then reveals a prisoner who he was imprisoned with talked about the Emperor's hidden vaults. So Tiber plans to go to Yavin 4 and check for any information from the debris of the Death Star. Now, I thought the voice acting was well done in the last 2 campaigns, and so far the voice acting with Tiber and Uri are good. But the voice actor for the Rebels is not good at all.
Unidentified ships. You are trespassing in Alliance space. Surrender immediately and prepare to be boarded.
Even Vader's voice changed, and it's worse.
Trooper, did you find anything in your search?
You have, of course, captured and detained them.
So I imagine this expansion had a low budget and the voice acting got the short end of the stick. Anyway, Tiber goes around looking for data pods and learns the hidden vaults of the Emperor are real, and there's a new warship that's under construction at Kuat.
And with the wealth in those vaults, I can build a criminal empire that makes the Black Sun look like a swoop gang.
I don't have time to go into who the Black Sun is, but just know that's arguably the biggest criminal enterprise in Star Wars. You build a black market on Kuat to learn this new ship is called the Eclipse, but it's too heavily guarded to try to sneak aboard. However, suddenly Ryloth gets attacked by Jabba the Hutt. Tiber now turns his attention to Jabba, and so invades Seleucami. Tiber learns that Jabba has a droid factory on Hypori. He doesn't have control of it yet, but Tiber wants to capture it so he can have a droid army under his control. Tiber and Uri make their way into the factory. The only droids that attack are droidicas, or as Uri calls them,
Droidecas are fast.
Fight your way through and Uri will disable them. Suddenly the bounty hunter Bosk shows up. Tiber offers him triple the pay, so Bosk suddenly becomes an ally. Then Jabba shows up all of a sudden. He basically says he wants the artifact back again, but obviously Tiber says no. You fight back Jabba and recapture all the landing zones to win. Jabba now begs to make a deal. Tiber makes the terms simple.
The only deal that lets you live is this. The price on my head? Gone. The hits on my territories? Stop. The planets Seleucami and Hypori now belong to me. If I see your people anywhere in my territory, I'll personally come to Tatooine and feed you to your own rancor!
Jabba agrees. Now that Jabba is out of the way, Tiber and Uri discuss what to do next. Uri suggests going to Dathomir to look for a Force user.
What a cheerful location.
First you free some Night Sisters, but they tell you to free another Night Sister called Silri, who could open its secrets for you. The Night Sisters are really cool, and they can ride Rancors, and they are very tanky and deal a lot of damage. So basically Rancors are all you need.
You will open the door now.
You're right. If she tries that mind control trick again, shoot her. Silri, I assume. We're not nearly the weak-minded fools you take us for.
You free her, but she wants revenge on the Imperial Governor. Here I learned the pathing in this game is frustrating. Units keep bumping into each other, and some decide to run into combat when you don't want them to.
Tiber, why are you running up? Jesus Christ! Oh my god, the pathing is horrible.
You make it to the governor's house, and Silri gets her revenge. Then you surprisingly get a message from...
Of course, I was aware that you had taken Jabba's comm node on Seleucami.
Wow, it's Grand Admiral Thrawn. This was honestly my first time learning about Thrawn in the Star Wars lore. Even here, he sounds like a badass. Silri talks about the artifact and discovers it's an ancient star map. At first, Tiber thinks it's useless, and he says he's looking to sell it. But Silri says she needs more time to learn more about it. Then Prince Shizor of the Black Sun contacts Tiber. Shizor talks about the artifact and how he was going to be the broker to deal with Jabba and the Empire. Tiber plays along and says he is interested in selling the artifact with the Emperor. Shizor says he will do it, but first he needs Tabana gas from Bespin. Uri doesn't trust the deal. However, Tiber knows it is a trap, because Darth Vader is stationed on Bespin. He plans to still go and get the gas, but plant evidence pointing to the operation being Shizor's doing.
Shizor takes the fall. We get the gas, and keep the artifact. An excellent plan.
Finally, Tiber asks for the help of IG-88, which is similar to this droid from Mandalorian. Collecting gas is easy. Just clear the way for the little droids to get them and return to the ship. Then have Tiber go to the Force security posts. However, be careful because after Tiber gets to the fourth one, Vader and a bunch of Dark Jedi show up.
Let's get back to the shuttle and get out of here.
You secured a build pad.
Run! Run!
Vader then says,
Shizor will pay for this transgression.
Shizor says he will send you coordinates for the rendezvous soon. Tiber and Yuri discuss what they are going to do next with the extra credits they made from the gas. Tiber says he used it to build new ships, including a new flagship for himself. Not too long after, you get the coordinates to go to Karita. However, Grand Admiral Thrawn is there. He reveals that Vader killed Shizor, but Thrawn knew the evidence was faked by Tiber.
You've overstepped your bounds for the last time, Zann.
Really? You don't think I came unprepared, do you?
Well done. For a petty criminal. Of course, I wouldn't have expected you to anticipate the hypervelocity gun on the surface.
Well, I would expect an Imperial officer to be arrogant enough not to be ready for my surprises.
That's right. Tiber's ship fires these two really powerful guns, and Tiber can power it up even more for tons of damage. But the attack is really slow and it's easy to dodge. During the battle, Boss steals the artifact and heads to Thrawn's ship. Once he's on board, Thrawn makes his escape. You finish off the rest of the Imperial fleet to win. Silri is very upset, but Tiber reveals he let Boss take it to Thrawn so he can track it. Since Silri seemed overly concerned, Tiber let her know what happens next time she withholds information from him.
These are actions that you will set in motion. Lie to me, betray me, withhold information from me again, and all of these things will come to pass. Am I as clear as I can possibly be?
I understand.
Splendid.
They track the artifact to Coruscant, so Tiber, Yuri, and Silri go there to retrieve the passkey for the eclipse. Tiber makes his way in to disable the security cameras. Silri senses through the force the artifact. She and her Rancor make their way to retrieve it. Yuri takes out the main power so the defense turrets are powered down. The three regroup and get what they need. This almost seems like a boss fight, a teleporting Dark Jedi? Just build a Ysalamiri, or as Tiber calls them,
why aren't those Ysalamiri cages being deployed?
The Dark Jedi dies easy. The three make their escape in a transport. During that time, the second Death Star was destroyed. Tiber sees this as an opportunity to attack Kuat, so gather all of your ships and send them to Kuat for the final battle.
That's the most magnificent thing I've ever seen, Yuri. Once we take control, we'll...
Tiber, we are tracking several inbound fleets.
It's probably the remains of the Imperial fleet attempting to repair and regroup here.
There are multiple Alliance signatures as well.
That's strange. Han and the Rebel fleet came straight here? I thought they were busy celebrating on Endor. So at first you are allied with the Rebels and need to take out 3 level 5 space stations, while also getting a boarding party to the Eclipse. Once they get there, you have access to the super laser. It's almost like having a Death Star.
The rebels have served their purpose. Destroy them.
Your new objective is to take out the Millennium Falcon. You do in fact destroy it. Well, I don't think this will ever be considered canon. Suddenly, the super laser is offline, the rebels retreat, 3 Star Destroyers enter orbit, and then...
What the... Super Star Destroyer incoming, sir!
Whoop. Ho 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 ho.
So now you just need to hold out and finish off the Imperials. After a couple of minutes, the super laser comes back online to help you mop up the rest of the Imperials.
We are victorious.
Tiber says he'll let the rebels create their new republic.
I've always wanted to own a senator.
This final cutscene teases at a possible second expansion, but that never happened. I couldn't find anything regarding this, but during a Reddit AMA back in 2018, devs of Petroglyph talked about the idea of making a full sequel. They tried talking to EA since they had the rights to making Star Wars video games, but EA never seemed interested in that. I think they were too busy making their microtransaction-heavy games. In conclusion, Empire at War is still a fun game and worth your time. It might be on sale since it's Star Wars Day, but even at full price, it's still worth it. The only major negative thing to say is it does feel a bit slow. So if you're some Korean Grandmaster StarCraft player, this is going to feel like a snail's pace for you. So go check it out on Steam. After you finish playing it and still want more or a different theme, check out the workshop for mods. There's stuff like Clone Wars, Empire at War Expanded, or even Knights of the Old Republic at War mod. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Make sure to hit that subscribe button and like this video to help grow my channel. I want to give a shout out to Traveling Calligrapher, Life Lived Candidly, and The Speakeasy. Check them out. Links are in the description. Thanks again, and may the Force be with you. Au!